Have you ever been playing with some friends and they said, let's play a 1-4-5? Or maybe you were reading an article about your favorite musician and he said, I love to solo over a 2-5-1 progression. So what does that mean? Well, let's look at the chord scale we just put together, the harmonized scale, and see how those major and minor chords that we built can be used as numbers to communicate to another musician the chord progression you want them to play. Now, we already know our chords follow the same numbers as our scale notes do. So our first chord is here, it's major. The second chord is minor. Third chord is minor. Fourth chord is major. Fifth chord is major. Sixth chord is minor. And then the seventh chord will be your diminished chord. That pattern of major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, and diminished is really important. If we think about just what numbers are major, our 1 chord, our 4 chord, and our 5 chord are major. Our 2 chord, our 3 chord, and our 6 chord are minor. Now, this holds true in any key. So if I move up here and play in B, my 1 chord, 4 chord, and 5 chord are major. 2 chord, 3 chord, and 6 chord are minor. So why is that important? Well, oftentimes someone will say, I want you to play a 2-5-1. Why would they say that instead of just saying, I want you to play an A minor and a D major and a G major, right? Be the same thing, right? So a 2-5-1 in the key of G, so if we're in G, 2-5-1 would be my second chord, A minor, my fifth chord, D major, and my 1 chord, G major. So why not just say that? Well, one very good reason for not saying that is, let's say you're going to play with a vocalist and they come in and they say, you know what, that's not in the right key for me. Let's move it to, can you move it up higher? Like maybe start on a C chord or something? Okay. Well, we would start, that first chord we're playing is A, so if we move it up to C, it would be here. So now if you had to tell the other guys in the band what to play, you'd say, okay, now I want you to play, instead of that A minor and D and G, let's play a C minor, an F, and a B flat major. You play that and think, you know what, that's not right. What if we try it in the key of A flat, okay? Now I want you to play a B flat minor, an E flat major, and a A flat. See how confusing that gets? It's like there's a lot of letters floating around there, right? So it's really hard to communicate that, especially if it's a more complex progression that has more than just 3 chords. But what if we just said, let's play a 2-5-1 in the key of G, okay? We know we're in the key of G, so we got to start there as home base. So my 2 chord is going to be here. 2 chord is here. 5 chord is always right here. 1 chord is there, because I'm basing it once again off of this shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 chord, 5, 1. You know what? Let's do that in the key of B. Okay, I go to B and I just go to my 2 chord, 2, 5, 1. How about in the key of F? There's my F, so my 2 chord is here, and I'm going to go. How do I know what those chords are? My 2 chord is always minor, my 5 chord is always major, and my 1 chord is always major. It doesn't even matter if you know what this chord is. If you know it's a C, or it's a B, or it's a D, it is the 5 chord in the key of F. So using numbers allows us to easily and effectively communicate chord changes to other musicians. Sometimes you'll see those numbers represented with Roman numerals. So what's going on with that? Well, when we use Roman numerals, an uppercase Roman numeral indicates a major chord, and a lowercase or a small case Roman numeral will indicate a minor chord. So we still have the same chords. We would have 1, our 2 is minor, our 3 is minor, our 4 is major, our 5 is major, and our 6 is minor. Our 7 is a minor with a flat 5, and then back to our 1. So that's how we would list these chords using Roman numerals. It may look a little different, but that's how you'll know whether you're playing a major or a minor chord just by the Roman numeral. Now, getting this chord scale and harmonized scale stuff down is so important when you start to play songs. Certainly when you're writing songs, but when you're just figuring out songs. For example, if I was going to play Lean on Me and I figured out, oh, here's the bass line, right? Think, oh, I got it. So because that's on the 6th string, I just play my root 6 chords there and I'm fine, right? So what if you played all major chords there? That's not right. That doesn't sound right. How can that be? Because I figured out those were the right notes. It's because you have to play the chords that are in the key. And some chords are major and some are minor. In this case, if we're playing it in G, right? G would be major, this would be minor, A minor, B minor, and C major. You have to keep the harmony going. All of a sudden now it sounds like the song, right? Because I have the proper harmonies happening. So that's where knowing which chords are major and which are minor is really going to pay off when you start to put together your own progressions and you start to learn songs. It's going to make learning songs so much easier to figure out.